I guess this is your 13th practice. What have you liked that you've seen from the team that you're very encouraged by?
Well, one thing is just the energy level along these guys. You know, we're in the 13th practice, and they're still, you know, when we're working individual and working on fundamentals and techniques, they're still getting after it. They're doing the, you know, they are really trying to be masters of their craft.
Some of the guys have made reference to bad taste in their mouth after what happened last year and not using injuries as an excuse. Have you kind of seen that sort of as a galvanizing kind of thing?
Well, I mean, whether I've seen it or not, that's something that's a common theme for all these guys. Is, I mean, nobody likes the way it went last year. So, I mean, I think all off season, winter conditioning, all that, I think they use that, and I think we'll be a better team because of it.
A lot of the guys building on that have talked about how you had the lead, I think, in maybe 7 games in the second half. Now you just have to learn to finish. How do you teach that? How do you learn to finish those games?
Well, you hope you learn from the mistakes you made in the, you know, from before. And so, you know, I mean, everything that we do in the off-season program and in practice and everything is about finishing. So hopefully we're learning those things right now as we go.
Aaron Crawford has got 22 starts under his belt, one of the veterans on the entire team. What have you seen in his growth and maturity?
Yeah, he's at, you know, if I had to pick one guy right now this spring that has had probably the best spring, it would be AC. I mean, he's really gotten after it. I mean, and there's been times we've pulled plays from the scrimmage just to show his effort for a 315-pounder. I mean, he's, you know, making tackles 30 yards downfield, doing what it takes to be a great player.
Mason Neal, he's gotten a lot of reps this spring, had opportunity, I guess, with Williams still out. Got to play a little bit late last year. How has he developed since he started getting on the field late last season?
Yeah, well, the best thing that Veal's got is he knows everything. He knows he could play guard, he could play center, he could play. He knows them all. So he knows the whole concept of everything we're doing up front. Does a good job of communicating with the other younger guys that are up there, the guys that don't have as much experience, and so you kind of lean on him to make sure those guys are doing things the right way.
When it comes to this quarterback competition, what do you look for in particular?
Separation, just looking for somebody to separate. They got to be able to lead the football team, you know, so they've got to be able to, you know, influence the guys around them, raise the level of the players around them, and hold themselves to a high standard.
What have you seen out of Nathan Elliott in terms of his improvement from the end of last season to now?
Well, he's more comfortable back there, for one. I mean, because the game slowed down for him. So now, when a mistake happens, he can already tell you, you know, when we talk about it, he knows exactly what happened. You know, and when you're communicating with a quarterback, you know, so I like to ask a lot of questions because I want to know if they're going to tell me what they really saw or what they think I wanted them to see. And one thing you're going to get from Nathan, he's going to be spot on every time. He's going to tell you exactly what he saw. And so that means his confidence level is a lot higher.
Physically, is there anything he's done improved on in terms of his arm strength or anything like that?
I think every throw he makes, it makes him better. So, you know, I mean, I don't have a way to measure his arm strength one way or the other. I mean, he can make the throws, so, and that's all I care about.
Kind of the same question with Chaz. What's the most growth you've seen from him in certain areas?
Well, I think he's come a long way in just having a better understanding of the offense. You know, instead of just what do I do, now he's evolving. He knows what he's doing, so now he's being able to evolve to what the rest of the guys are doing on every given play and every concept. So he's got, you know, just that alone gives him a better understanding, which enables him to raise his level of play.
What's most important to you at the quarterback position? Is it accuracy, leadership?
Wow, most important. I mean, if you're not accurate, you can't play the position, so that doesn't matter. But, you know, leadership is pretty, I mean, both of those are pretty high on the list right there. You know, I mean, we want them to be athletic. They don't have to be able to run 4.5, but we want them to be able to run, take command of the offense. You know, I mean, and have some presence back there, you know, that those other guys know you're back there and you're stable, you're like a rock, and they can count on you.
Competition because you need somebody versus competition because both guys are progressing and getting better. At what point were Chaz and Nathan maybe at the latter?
say that all again now.
Competition because you need.
Because I was
somebody.
waiting to see if you were answering your question first. So
Well,
I didn't listen to the question.
Obviously, there's two kinds of competition.
Right.
You need to get somebody to put them on the field.
Right.
Okay, then there's a point where maybe these two guys, they got experience, they started making a lot of progress. At what point did they reach a point where they're pushing each other because they're making progress, significant progress?
I mean, I'm going to tell you this because both of them got reps last year. Both of them played. I mean, we know that. And so both of them made mistakes. Both of them want that position. So both of them are competing every single day in every aspect. That's on the field and off.
How much are they pushing each other now? Is it kind of what you want out of them?
Oh yeah, they're competing in everything they do. I mean, everything in the film room, in the dining hall. I mean, I don't mean they're eating. I mean, I'm talking about the way they are around their teammates. I mean, you're competing on how you lead, you know, and how your teammates respond to you. That's part of the competition.
Coach, what are your expectations for Michael Carter next season?
Well, I mean, he played really well for us as a true freshman, and excited about where he is. I mean, he's so much more comfortable back there. You know, he's not as big-eyed. He's relaxed. Blitz pickups, those things. He's very under control. I mean, he can actually do it all, and he's made some great plays for us this spring, actually too.
Where do you see some Charlie Heck this year, kind of stepping into more of a leadership role with Sweet out and leading that offensive line?
Yeah, I mean, Charlie's really come on, and what we got to do is make sure and keep pushing Charlie because the sky's the limit for him. I mean, we don't want him to get comfortable because he's going to be a really good football player. I mean, we had a play the other day that Michael broke and went about 70 yards, and Charlie was running behind him and was as fast as anybody else on the field running with him. I mean, he can really run, and we've got to get that kind of play out of him every single play. When we do that, he's going to be a great player.
He said last year that confidence was an issue for him because of switching positions.
Never played the position.
Yeah, but I guess about maybe with 4 games left, he felt like he finally belonged out there in the field. Is that what you got?
Oh yeah, I would see it that way. I mean, anytime you just move a guy into a position that he's never played in his life, I mean, it's different. I mean, it doesn't matter that you've played the game. I mean, you can look at Anthony Ratliff and the progress he made is going to wide receiver after never playing it. And some people think that's just an easy thing to do. Well, it's not. I mean, yeah, you can run out there and run around and catch a ball, but to understand all the different nuances of the position, that's the same thing with that offensive tackle. Understanding what those defensive ends and what you have to do within the scheme. I mean, you can't be as productive as you want if you're having to think about it the whole time. It has to be natural. You have to feel comfortable enough that you know what you're doing, so you can be an athlete, and that's where he's at.
Are you guys feeling better this spring than you were last spring at this time, or how
am I feeling better
about your team and how things are shaping up?
I never feel great or good, or I'm never happy. I mean, so I probably feel about the same. I'm sorry to tell you that, but my wife could give you the same answer about me. I'm never happy about. I don't know. It's just the way I am. We've got a long way to go, but I'll just tell you, I'm happy with their effort. I'm happy the way they're approaching the practice each and every day. I'm happy about those things, but if there's a mistake, I'm unhappy. So it's we're never going to be perfect, so I'll never be happy.